The recent demonstrations to the Olympic torch relay have touched a sensitive nerve for people in China and opened a floodgate of national pride. I interviewed several local Chinese to get their opinions.
I'm furious over it. The spirit of the Olympics consists of friendship and peace. The protesters have only damaged their own image with this kind of behavior.
Well, I think the protesters themselves are kind of shameful that they are just destroying this spirit of the Olympic Games.
Face is really important for Chinese people. A lot of Chinese express their feelings indirectly because they're afraid of losing face. With the Olympics coming up, Chinese feel they've lost a tremendous amount of face due to the Tibetan independence demonstrations.
Of the demonstrations in Paris, several Chinese newspapers focused on a disabled Chinese torchbearer who was attacked by a demonstrator, labeling the event inhumane.
We are actually getting news about the protest. It's not being censored in the state media, although it is certainly being shaped in the state media. All of the protesters are being described as Tibetan separatists. They're continuing to pursue the theme that these protests, this trouble, is rooted in people who want to divide China. And that's such a passionate and emotional issue here in China for ordinary people. Even people who might on other issues be critical of the government almost uniformly believe in territorial integrity of what they believe is China. And they see Tibet, ordinary people here, without question, believe Tibet is part of China.
History suggests nationalism in China can take on a life of its own. In 2005, Chinese demonstrators voiced their dissatisfaction over Japanese Prime Minister Koizumi's visit to the Yasukuni Shrine, where war criminals guilty of atrocities against the Chinese in World War II are honored. Nationalist sentiment in China got so out of hand that Chinese riot police clashed with demonstrators trying to overrun the Japanese consulate in Shanghai. Irate Chinese tore down signs of Japanese businesses. In a bid to restore order, the Chinese state media sent out text messages stating all marches and public gatherings expressing patriotic sentiment needed to be orderly, law-abiding, and required permits above all things. The battle even spilled over onto the internet. The Chinese government shut down several websites started by ordinary Chinese citizens, one of which posted an online petition boycotting business contracts between the Chinese government and Japanese companies. The Patriots Alliance website, as it was called, received 67,000 online signatures from Chinese netizens within just 24 hours. Thus far, anger over Tibetan protests has stayed on the internet, but there are other signs that Chinese pride is on the line right now. 2 Chinese Olympic gold medalists were signing autographs for free. Only they weren't really free. In order to get an autograph, you had to buy a mini Olympic torch collectible, purchasable next door for $420. Beijingers were buying the torches to show their support for the beleaguered torch tour. By the end of the day, the store had sold out. In Beijing, this is Jimmy Wang for the New York Times.